Good Thursday evening to everybody. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. We have another prime time edition of the 1987 American League replay. This one coming from County Stadium in Milwaukee. The Kansas City Royals against the Milwaukee Brewers. Starting pitchers for today's game: Mark Gubiza for the Royals and Len Barker for the Milwaukee Brewers. Hello, Ben. Good to see you. This game is the next to last game to be played on June the 3rd, 1987. The last game will be tomorrow, and that will be Texas and Chicago from Texas. It's game number 353 total, and symmetrical ballpark in Milwaukee, so singles are 6 for both left and right, and home runs are 5 left and right. Milwaukee in first place in the American League East by a game and a half over both the Yankees and Toronto, so if they win here, they'll be 2 games up. Kansas City a dead even 24-24. And, of course, they're chasing the Oakland A's. So, Ben, I guess you're a Tiger fan, but, I got to figure out somebody, I forget the guy's name in the chat, but somebody told me there's a way to do it on the computer to get that to work. But I haven't had a chance to mess with it yet. So maybe over the weekend I'll mess with that and see if I can get that to happen. All right. Got the game on the Strat computer, so we'll get this ball rolling, so to speak. Len Barker on the 87 season, 2-1 with a 5.36 ERA, only tossed 44 innings. He's made 1 start so far. He's 1-0, went 8 innings, gave up 11 hits, 3 walks, and a strikeout, ERA of 2.35. So it's got to be like 8 1/3 innings or something in there. I'm not sure exactly how that played out. But anyway, because the Strat computer doesn't give me the decimals, so it doesn't give me the thirds or the halves or 2/3 or whatever. But that's what we got. Len Barker, he's a net -1 because he's a -1 and Surhoff is a 0. Gubiza is a +2. Quirk's a +1 and Gubiza's a +1 to make him a net +2. Barker doesn't have any wild pitch or balk rating. Gubiza has a 12 wild pitch and a 2 balk, and both of them are moderately low on the pass balls, 6 and 5. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. Hello, Larry. Hello, Coast Kid. Good to see you. All right, so obviously game important to both teams because Milwaukee's trying to hold into first and Kansas City's trying to catch up with the Oakland A's. So Willie Wilson steps into the plate to lead things off. He is hitting .303 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at .279 real world. We're underway from Milwaukee, 6'11", switch hitter. Ground ball pitcher X right to Len Barker. And Barker is a 3E0. So we cannot make an error, but we'll roll the 3 dice anyway just to make sure there's no 5 for a rare play. And there is not. So it won't make an error. He's a 3, so just has to get to the ball. And on a 3, as long as you get a 4 or higher, he makes the play. And he does. So it's an easy play for Barker. And Wilson is retired. Start things off. Here's Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer hitting .266 on the replay, 8 homers, 29 driven in. He hit .323 real world. 4-6 against Barker, and that's a pop-up to short where Dale Swain will haul it in. 2 up, 2 down for Barker. Brings up Danny Tartable. Tartable on the replay, hitting .322, 12 homers, 36 driven in. He hit .308 real world. Hello, Ernest. 3-8 for Tartable. Split chance 1-12, line out 13-20. That's a 7, so it's base hit for Tartable. 2-out single for Danny Tartable. He's not going to be held, not going to go anywhere. Here's Thad Bosley, the designated hitter. And Bosley is struggling to say the least. He's hitting .164, 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit .278 real world, or .279 real world. So he's definitely struggling a bit. Nothing on the Havoc. 4-4, left-handed is a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Robin Yount. He's a 2E6 to be able to make this play. 2-18 all over it, so no problems there. Now we're just checking out the old E6, and that is a 12. So center field E6, 3, 15, and 18, but no 12. Also a 4, but no 12. So good play for Robin Yount, and the Royals get a 2-out single, but that's it. Go to the bottom of the first. It is Kansas City nothing, and Milwaukee coming to bat. And ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubicza, is on the mound. In the 87 season, he had a rough year win-loss wise. He was 13 and 18. 3.98 is not too bad of an ERA, but not great, but not horrible. On the replay, he's 5 and 4 with an ERA of 3.88. So he's 0.1 better at 3.88 on the replay. Leading off will be left fielder Mike Felder for the Milwaukee Brewers. Felder on the replay hitting 261 in just 23 at-bats. He had 289 at-bats. Real world hit 266. So right now, 261, no homers or runs driven in. That's a 2-6, and that's a pop-up to second. Frank White, the venerable Frank White, is there to make the play, one away. That'll send up Robin Yount. Yount on the replay hitting 316, 10 homers, 39 driven in. Get 312 real world. 1-5 for Yount. That's a 1-15 home run, and that's gone. That's a 9. Not clean, but it counts. Look at it again. 1-5 home run, 1-15, and that's a 9. Robin Yount just put the Brewers on the board with his 11th home run of the replay. He had 21 real world, so he's way ahead of his pace on home run power. That is RBI number 40 for him. So he's definitely been tearing it up in the replay. Robin Yount, Brewers lead at 1-0. Here's Cecil Cooper, the DH. He's hitting 230 on the replay. 6 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 248 real world. 4-7, and that's a base on balls. First walk issued by Gubicza. Cooper, very slow runner, not going to go anywhere. Not going to be held. And here is Greg Brock, first baseman. Brock hitting 327, 6 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 299 real world. 3-7 for Brock, and that's another walk. So Gubicza, a little bit of control issues, walking 2 in a row after the home run to Yount. And he's in a little bit of a bind here. First and second, 1 out for B.J. Surhoff. Hello, RJO. Good to see you, Mr. Robert. I know you're itching to go January 1st or 2nd. Can't come soon enough for you, I'm sure, to get that inside pitch advance going. Surhoff hitting 327, 3 homers, 13 driven in, 299 real world. Of course, you got the, before that, I guess you have the demo game coming up in a couple weeks, too. That's a 1, so it's a wild pitch chance for Gubicza, and he's a 12. 17, so it's blocked by Quirk. January 5th is the official start date for 1980. Very good. Surhoff, 210. Oh, here we go. Jeff's not in the chat, but there you go. Clean as you know what. Solid home run for B.J. Surhoff. The 210, it's right there. Undeniable. And that's a 3-run shot off of Gubicza, and it's 4-0 Milwaukee here in the first. Where's ID Jester when you need him? Because Gubicza can use some karma with a Gubicza every now and then. For Surhoff, that's home run number 4 on the replay. RBIs 14, 15, and 16. He had 7 home runs real world. That's his 4th already. And he's barely 1/3 of the way. He's over halfway through his home runs, but he's only 1/3 of the way through his at-bats. So, yeah, Ernest, break out the baby wipes. You got it. All right, here's Rick Manning. Despite the what's the word for it? Despite the disputations of certain others. All right, here is B.J. Surhoff, 327 average, 3 homers, 13 driven in. Not Surhoff, that's Manning. What am I doing? Surhoff hit the home run. It's Manning. Manning's hitting 292, no homers, 2 driven in. 4-9, and that's another walk for Gubiza. Third walk of the inning. He just isn't right tonight. Maybe he was expecting a morning start, and this nighttime game is giving him problems. Sort of like the old match game. They had the match game and the match game PM. So maybe this is Demos PM. Maybe that's the way I should title this thing, Demos PM. Manning does have a chance to get the lead with a 5. Just missed it. Can't get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Jim Gantner, third baseman, giving Molitor the game off. Gantner hitting 284. No homers, 9 driven in the replay. He hit 272 real world. Still only 1 out. 1-8, and that's another base hit. Single 2. That's a 1, actually, so it's a double. I was going to say not much of a chance but double with a 1, but the double die comes up as a 1. So that's a double 2 stars. And is it possible that Gubiza could be tired in the first inning? Infield will have to come in now for Juan Castillo. And I'm sure the Royals were not banking on this. Castillo on the replay hitting 216, no homers and 9 driven in. He hit 224 real world. Infield is in. 4-11. Fly ball right field X. They could really use a good play from Tartable, but he is a 4. So that's dangerous. Even if he catches it, it's probably at no worse a sacrifice fly. 13. 4-13 is probably an F2. Or it might be a single. Let's see. 4-13 is actually an F1. That means all runners advance. Both runners are going to advance on the fly out with that F1. That's a 10, and he's an E7, so I don't think that's not a problem. But it is going to be a sacrifice fly to right field for Castillo. And moving to third base will be Gantner since we had the F1, which means all runners advance. It was so deep, everybody moved up. So it is now 5-0 favor of the Royals. Favor of the Brewers, rather. And the 9th man to bat in the inning, Dale Swain. And Mark Gubiza is now officially tired by the Strat computer. All right, so 318 the average on the replay for Swain. 10 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 252 real world. Gubiza will try to avoid the dots if he can. 4-11. Same thing with his head. Fly ball right field X, so Tartable's got another chance. Got to have a good D20 to make this catch. He does, an 18, so he makes the catch. That's a 9. I don't think an E7 and a 9 is going to be a problem. It is not, so he makes the catch. But it is going to be a nickel coming out here for Milwaukee. They put 5 runs across the board. And Gubiza is tired the rest of the way he's going to be out there. I don't consider this batting around. Some people do, but in my world, batting around would have meant Felder would have hit again. And I would have had to start a new column. But some people call this batting around. I just don't do it, but you can call it what you want, I guess. Hello, DJ from the left coast. Good to see you. Of course, it's only, like 5:30 or something out there. So, all right. Barker has been given a 5-0 lead. See if he can hold up. He's going to be facing Frank White. Frank White hitting 239 on the replay, 5 homers, 16 driven in. He at 245 real world. 4-9, and that is a pop up to third. Kevin Seitzer will make the play. And there, look at the Kansas City bullpen and see if they got anybody that can go, a lot of innings here. Not really. Boy. Farr can go 3 innings, and Anderson can go 2. Technically, Quisenberry can go 2, but you don't really want to use those guys if it's going to be a blowout. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, so Frank White is retired, and here's Beniquez. Second game in a row, he has spelled Mr. Bye-Bye Balboni at first base. So he's playing first base in this one. Beniquez hitting 241, 4 homers, 22 driven in on the replay. Hit 251 real world. 3-9, and that is a ground ball. I'm sorry, 3-9 is a line out to third. So Seitzer will take care of both of those outs to start the inning. 2 up, 2 down for Bo Knows. See if Bo can do anything. Bo Jackson hitting 233 on the replay with 6 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 235 real world. 1-8, and he's going to strike out here. First strikeout for Barker. Another easy 1-2-3 inning for Barker. So not much rest for the weary for Mark Gubicza. He's got to come right back out there. But the Kansas City bullpen may very well be in tune here. Now, I believe, I'll have to double check the schedule, but I believe that Kansas City has the next day off, but I will check the schedule. I don't think they play on June the 4th. I think that's an off day for them. I know some teams do. I don't remember which teams they were. I'll look it up here real quick and find out if they're off or whether they have a start going on June the 4th, because we may have to bring in like a Bud Black or somebody to give him some innings possibly. So let's see here. Kansas City. Oh, not Oakland. I want Kansas City. Kansas City. Do they have a June 4th game? Yes, they do. Unfortunately, they are not off. So they will be playing on June the 4th. That's a Thursday, so a lot of teams have off on Thursday, but not them. They got to actually travel from Milwaukee out to Seattle. Saberhagen gets the start. June the 5th, Danny Jackson gets a start. So they might be able to, I think we can fit Bud. Yeah, Bud Black's not going to pitch for a while. I mean, unless he started on the 2nd and I forgot about it. Yeah, he did. So never mind. Bud Black started the last game. He can't go in relief. So they're just going to be screwed is all there is to it. They're just going to have to figure out a way to get around this. All right, here's Robin Yount. He homered his first time up. Actually, not Yount, it's Felder. How they get backwards in here? Somehow Felder got way out of proportion. It's actually going to be Felder and then Yount. It's a 3-6, and that is a ground ball to third. That is done there by Seitzer, one away. Going to bring up Robin Yount now. Let's see, 4-5, right-handed, and that's a fly ball to right. 2 down. He just barely missed that 4-6, would have been a dot. So he managed to get around that. Here's Cecil Cooper. Coop walked his first chance. 2-7, and it's time he will strike out. So first strikeout for Gubicza, and he actually pitches a 1-2-3 second inning. They can get 4. They can coax 4 innings out of Gubicza. That will help alleviate some of the bullpen stress. But he's got to go through 2 more innings, and that might not happen. We never can tell. Here's Len Barker. He's back out with a 5-0 lead. He'll be facing Angel Salazar. Salazar on the replay hitting 243, 2 homers, 11 driven in. He hit 205 real world. That's a 5-10. Right-handed, and that's a ballpark blast. It's only a 1-5, and that's a 17. So he had weak power anyway, so it would have only been a single, even if it was successful. But instead, he flies to left, and there's 1 away. Hey, World's Worst, good to see you. Here's Jamie Quirk. Quirk hitting 268, no homers, 11 driven in. Hit 236 real world. 5-8 left-handed. That's a base on balls. And that's the first walk issued by Barker. Quirk now no threat to run. Here's Willie Wilson. 6-3, switch hitter batting left. 6-3 is a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Swain, 3E25 for Swain. 3-15 should be good. Might even be a double play chance. 3-15 is a G1, so potential double play. That's a 14, and he's an E25. E25, there's a 13, but no 14, so it will be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made 6-4-3 double play. to end the inning. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. Well, I'll tell it like this. I plan on keeping doing these games as long as people watch, and as long as YouTube doesn't kick me out, and as long as the wife lets me do it, and as long as I, have the health to do it, I will do it because I enjoy it. It is my hobby. So everybody has to have a hobby. So this is my hobby. Some people, collect stamps or something, but I do this. Some people play golf. This is much cheaper than playing golf because all these Strat sets I've already bought. So there's no more charge. I've already got them in hand. I don't have to buy anymore. I got enough Strat sets to last me for 2 lifetimes that I haven't even gotten to yet. So the chances of me buying more Strat sets are probably not very good. The only exception to that might be is if they come out with 1979 this year. Then I might do something. Maybe. It's just hard to justify the $20-something shipping cost. That tears me up. All right, here is Greg Brock. 4-6, and here we go. We hit the strikeout with the dot, so that's going to turn into a base hit, and that's going to take Gubiza out of the game. I use the same rule they do an inside pitch where he hits the fatigue. It's an exhaustion rule, and he's got to come out. That's just my house rule. I don't think that's a Strat-O-Matic rule per se. All right, so Greg Brock reaches, but we need a new pitcher for the Royals. And who do they have that they can turn to? Boy, they're going to have to do something here with who's coming up here for the Royal or I got lefties coming up, so I'm gonna go to Jerry Don Gleaton and see how far he can go. The only left-hander in the bullpen, but you got lefties coming up, so you may as well use him now. No sense holding him on. Maybe they can squeak 2 innings out of him. I don't know. Good thing is, as a visiting team, if they're way behind, you only have to cover 8 innings, not 9. So that helps a little bit. Gubiza 2+ innings. I'll do the rest after the inning is over. -4 hold for Gleaton, but it probably doesn't matter anyway. Makes him a -3. Probably not going to be a factor. Gleaton, real world, 4-4 with a 4.26 ERA. On the replay, he is 0-1 with an ERA of an even 4. He's pitched 9 innings so far in the replay, given up 9 hits, walked 4, struck out 7. DJ, I only took advantage of one thing from play.com, and it was a PDF for $7. So my bank account is not damaged at all. All right, so here is BJ Surhoff. In fact, I kept making like I was going to do a parody unboxing and have the box be empty but have nothing in it but money, and say this is all the money I save by not buying stuff. But I decided not to do that. All right, 6-4, lefty. That's an in-home run chance 1-3, and that is Gleaton comes in the game and gives up a home run to Surhoff. Look at this. This is ugly. 6-4 is an in-home run chance 1-3. The double die is a 3, and Surhoff has normal power against lefties. Strangely, against lefties, but weak against righties, being a left-handed hitter. But that's gone. BJ Surhoff, his second home run of the game. He's 2 for 2 with 2 home runs. That's home run number 5 for Surhoff. And he is way above his skis here on home runs. He only hit 7 for the whole replay in 395 at bats. This is his 5th home run in at bat number 100. So he's only 25% of the way through, but he's already got 5 out of the 7 home runs. It's uncanny. That's the way the dice come up. So we can close the book now on Gubiza. He did get charged with this run, so he is charged with 6 earned runs. Amazing. So Gleaton, obviously not the answer. Well, I just didn't know World's Worst. I thought about it, but I didn't know if that would piss people off or whatever. So for people that went out and bought a whole bunch of stuff, because that's part of the hobby is you wait on the packages to come in. You get excited to unbox it. So I don't want to be a wet blanket on anybody's parade. So I didn't want to do that. But the thought was there. 3-5, and that is a ground ball to short. And I don't know if people would have taken it as a parody or whether they thought I was legitimately getting on their case for buying stuff. It's hard to say. So I'll leave it alone. Here's Gantner. 3-7, and it's everybody's there. It's people's own money, and they can spend it the way they wish, obviously, or save it the way they wish, or give it away the way they would. Whatever you want to do with it. So invest it, whatever you want to do. All right. Here's Juan Castillo. $111. That's a ballpark single check. 1-6. That fails. It'll be a line out to second, and that will end the inning. But 2 more runs come in. It's 7-0. Milwaukee over Kansas City, but Gleaton will at least try to go 1 more inning, just to try to bridge it a little bit towards Steve Farr and Rick Anderson, if at all possible. All right, so let's go to the box score and get the complete devastation results on Mark Gubaza, or as ID would call him, Gubaza. He kind of pitched like a Gubaza. 2 innings pitched, only 4 hits, but 6 runs. He walked 3, struck out 1. Unfortunately for him, 2 of the 4 hits were home runs. So didn't give up a lot of hits, but he sure did. They sure did make him count. Put it that way. All right, here's Kevin Seitzer. 2-4 against Barker is a ground ball to third. So in the meantime, Len Barker just casually going through each inning with no sweat, knowing he's got a 7-0 lead to work with. Just putting the ball in there, let this defense work for him. Tartable 1-5, and that's a strikeout. That is strikeout number 2. Thad Bosley. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X, and that's going to be Castillo. He is a 3 E21. 3-17, he'll get to that. The E21 and a 13. E21, there's a 13 right here, so Castillo boosts it. It'll be an E4, and that will keep the inning going. So 2-out error on Castillo. Bosley reaches, and here comes Frank White. Yeah, Dan, I've heard. I mean, I know of Twitch, but I know nothing about Twitch. I don't know anything about X either. I've never got on X either. Or what's the other one? TikTok. Never done any of that stuff either. Facebook, I'll do. That's about it. 1-6, and that's a ground ball to short. And I don't usually post anything on Facebook. I usually just watch what other people are doing. All right, so nothing doing there for Kansas City. They get an error, but nothing really becomes of it. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 7-0. Like I said, I think Kansas City thought this game was going to be tomorrow morning, so I don't think they were ready to play. Here's Swain. 2-5 against the lefty is a ground ball to short. So if Gleaton can get them those 2 innings, they would be ecstatic. Here's Felder. 3-6 for Felder against the lefty. That's a base on balls. And with the score 7-0, they will hold him on, but he will not try to run with the score 7-0. That's kind of sort of into the baseball etiquette category. I think your 7 runs, you're right on that borderline of not trying to run up the score. That's a 1, so let's check Gleaton's wild pitch rating. Of course, they are not written on the 87 cards, and I'm not writing on my cards. I'll go to the computer. His wild pitch rating is 16. His balk is an 8. So he will throw the wild pitch. And that will move the runner in scoring position. Not that it matters that much with the score being what it is. But unfortunately, getting 2 blowouts in this day game and night game. But oh well, it happens. Gleaton to Yount. 6-2, and that's a ballpark blast off of Gleaton. 1-5, but that's an 11, so just a deep fly to left, and Gleaton catches a break there for out number 2. I'll bring up Cecil Cooper. Technically a clutch situation, and he loses hits on 3-3, 3-5, 2-12, and 1-6. Definitely anti-clutch for Mr. Cooper. 4-8 instead is a strikeout by Gleaton, and that will end the inning. Don't know if I want to push. I guess we could try to push Gleaton. There's some more lefties coming up, so actually they're going to have Gleaton come back out again. They're going to have him come back out again. So why not? As long as he's not, by rule, as long as he's not tired, why not? All right, so Lynn Barker will face Juan Beniquez. This is Barker's fatigue inning number 5, so we'll keep an eye on that. 2-11, and that is a ballpark single check, 1-6. That is a 6. So right on the number, Juan Beniquez gets a ballpark single, courtesy of County Stadium. Here is Bo Knows. Bo knows how to strike out. That's what he did in the first time up. 3-3, but Bo also knows certain home runs that need baby wipes right here. Look at that. Clean as a baby's ass, as Jeff Guterman would say. 3-3 is a home run, 2-run shot, and it cuts the lead to 7-2. So Bo knows his home runs. And for Bo, that is home run number 7 on the replay. He hit 22 real world. That is his 7th home run in his 174th at bat of the replay. He hit 22 in 396 at bats. So he's about almost halfway to his total at bats, and maybe a little bit behind the pace for home runs, but he can always make that up. You never know. Here is Angel Salazar. 4-8, and that's a line out right to Greg Brock. 1 away. One more base runner, and Barker will be fatigued. Here's Jamie Quirk. Walked his first chance. 1-4, and he's going to fly to right field. That'll be hauled in out there in right field by Mr. Rick Manning, as they give Rob Deere a day off, or night off, depending on how you look at it. Here's Willie Wilson. 5-9, switch hitter batting left. It's ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. So Barker does make it through 5 without hitting fatigue. So he'll come back for the 6th with the score now 7-2. And coming back out for his 3rd inning of work is Jerry Don Gleaton. We're going to see how far he can go. Help with that bullpen. And he'll be facing Brock, Surhoff, and Manning, 3 lefties scheduled. Here's Brock. He's walked and singled to 2-11, and that is a strikeout. So Gleaton carrying the torch for the Royals right now, saving their bullpen, or doing his best to save their bullpen. Here's B.J. Surhoff. He's homered twice, 2 for 2. But those were both against Gubaza. No, I'm sorry. The second one was against Gleaton. That's Gleaton's first batter was Surhoff. 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance again, 1-3. And that, do you believe that, folks? That is B.J. Surhoff's 3rd home run of the game on consecutive at-bats. 6-4 is an in-home run chance, 1-3. The double die is a 3. B.J. Surhoff just hit another home run. He is 3 for 3 with 3 home runs, and he hit 7 for the whole season. He's already got 6 now in the replay, and he's still got 294 more bats to go. So the pace he's going to hit 20 home runs. Unbelievable. Now here's Rick Manning. Gleaton's got to be getting close to fatigue here, you would think. 5-12, that's a ballpark blast, but he has weak power. It is a 5, which would be a home run, but he's got weak power, so it'll just be a single for Rick Manning. And now Rick Anderson is loosening in the bullpen for Kansas City. This may be his last batter right here for Gleaton is a Gantner. Possibly. 1-9, and that's a single to center field. That's going to be it for Gleaton. I think he's pretty much toast at this point. But he went a lot. He's rated for fatigue of 1 inning, and he went 2 1/3. So kudos to him for that. But there comes a point where you just run out of gas. And so he leaves, and Rick Anderson's going to come on. And Anderson will go as far as he can go. +5 on the whole. But again, I don't think with the score being 8-2 that it's going to matter. Oh, it just told me Jerry Gleaton was tired on the computer. Like, no duh. I knew that. All right, so Anderson will face Castillo. On the regular season, Anderson 0-2 with a 13.85 ERA. On the replay, he is, well, I hadn't brought him in yet. Let me bring him on the computer. Make sure he's in there and not Gleaton, because that'll screw everything up. So Anderson on the replay, 0-0 with a 4.70 ERA. He's pitched 8 innings, 14 hits in the 8 innings, though. So that's problematic. All right, so Castillo, switch hitter, will turn around bat left-handed now. 4-3, and that is a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Beniquez. He's a 4.10. Not very good. 4.10. 4-17, though, he gets bailed out. A 4-17 is a G1, possible double play. That's a 9, and he is an E10. And there's no error there, so it's going to be a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. So Anderson throws 1 pitch and gets out of the inning without any further damage. But after 5 complete, it's Milwaukee 8 and Kansas City 2. So we'll go to the Strat computer and get the final official numbers on Jerry Don Gleaton after I put in this double play. So the final totals on Jerry Don Gleaton, not too terrible. 2 1/3, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits rather. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. But more importantly, he helped bridge the gap just a little bit to get to the back end of the bullpen. All right, here is Kevin Seitzer to lead off against Barker. 4-4. That's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Gantner. He's a 3E12. 3 1/3. That's trouble. 3 1/3 is a base hit, and that's an 11. And he's an E12. E12. There is a 12 here, but no 11. So it won't be an error, but it will be a base hit for Kevin Seitzer as he sneaks it right past Mr. Gantner. Leadoff single. And that'll send up Danny Tartable. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. Checking for a pass ball. Pass ball. Surhoff is a 5 on the pass ball. So no pass ball. Tartable 1-8 struck him out. So for Barker, that is only strikeout number 3. He's gotten Tartable twice, though. 1 away for Mr. Bosley. For 9, left-handed, and that's a fly ball to right. Hauled in by Manning, 2 down. So it looks like Barker should be able to get through at least 6 innings, if nothing else. Here's Frank White. Probably cap him at 6 innings, since he's on the verge of fatigue anyway. 6-6, and that's going to be a single to center field. That might put him over the edge right there for fatigue. See what the computer says about it. Yep, it sure does. He is now officially tired. So they're going to at least try to get him through this inning, and then they would cap him at the 6 innings if they can get through the inning. Here's Juan Benitez, but the dots now come into play. 2-8, and that's going to be a 1-4 double. That's an 18, single 2 stars. That'll score a run to make it 8-3 and bring Frank White all the way to third. So now the Milwaukee bullpen starting to stir, as they don't want this one to get away from them. Bo Jackson is up. He homered his last time up. A home run now would get him right back in the game. Brewer bullpen has activity. Chris Bosio loosening in the bullpen. Chris Bosio, a right-hander. But he prefers to start an inning clean, so they're hoping that Barker can get through this inning. Needs to get that third out. Here's Bo Jackson. Homered his last time up. 111, and this time it's a ballpark single check, 1-6, but that's a 7. So he just misses it. Lines it to short, and that ends the inning. So Kansas City gets 1, but that's all they get. And Barker will be capped at 6 innings pitched. But, of course, he's in line to get the win. And Chris Bosio has a potential to pitch a 3-inning save, possibly. He can go all 3 innings because Bosio does have fatigue of 3 on his card. So Barker goes 6 innings. He's going to give up 6 hits and 3 runs. They were all earned. Let's see. He walked just the 1. That was Quirk. And he struck out only 3. But he can improve to 2-0 with the victory, assuming that holds up. We go to the bottom of the 6th on the 8-3 game. Rick Anderson back out and only faced 1 batter last time. Got that double play. Now he's going to face the bottom of the order, Dale Swain. 5-7, switch hitter batting left is a solid single for Swain. And that brings up Mike Felder, left fielder. 4-7, and that's another single. Same role, I believe. 4-7 and 4-7. And I believe Rick Anderson is a former New York Met. I think he was actually on the 86 team, if I'm not mistaken, or 85 team, one of those 2 teams. Here's Robin Yount. 5-8, and that's a ground ball first base C, so it's a 3-1 ground out as he throws to Anderson covering, does Benitez, but the runners will move up 90 feet, get in scoring position. Now the infield will have to come in for Cecil Cooper. Infield is in. Cooper is 0 for 2 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Anderson to Cooper. And how about that? We got Anderson Cooper. That's interesting. 5-3, and that's a ballpark single check. It's a 1-6, but that's a 15. So it's a line out to second base. And now the infield can go back to normal for Greg Brock. Clutch situation still technically for Brock. 2-6 for Brock, and he grounds it to short. So Anderson pitches out of the mess and keeps the score 8-3, giving Kansas City a sliver of hope. So, whoops, what happened here? I didn't put something in right. It didn't like what I did. Oh, I gotta have, okay, I see what I did. There we go. All right, so now we're going to bring in Chris Bosio from the bullpen for the Brew Crew. Bosio On the real season, he was 11-8 with a 5.24 ERA and 2 saves. On the replay, he's 1-0 with 5.67 ERA and 2 saves. 27 innings pitched, 33 hits. And he's going to start out facing Angel Salazar. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is allowed. But, well, I think they're going to pinch hit for Salazar here. They're going to need to do something to get something started. So we will get a pinch hitter. Bill Pecota will come in and pinch hit and stay in the game to play shortstop. So Bill Pecota will take over for Angel Salazar. Pecota 276 hitter, Angel Salazar 207 hitter. So it seems to be a logical choice. One that even Mr. Spock at Star Trek would make. Of course, McCoy would say, "Damn it, Jim, what'd you make that move for?" All right, so let's bring Pecota in. So, feeble attempt at a Dr. McCoy impersonation, which did not go very well, I'm sure. All right, here's Pecota. 2-8 for Pecota, and he's going to strike out. I forgot to mention I did say he hit 276 real world. On the replay, he was hitting 240 in just 25 at bats. He's hitting less than that now, thanks to the strikeout. So Basio starts out with a strikeout. And that brings up Jamie Quirk. Quirk will go ahead and hit. He hit 236, but he's better than half the guys on the bench, so they're going to leave him there. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to second. I just watched a Star Trek episode when I was eating dinner this evening. Made me think of that. It was an episode called Cat Spa. Here's Willie Wilson. 5'10", and that is a catcher X. We're looking at Surhoff. He's a 3E5. Whoa, got hop and dice. Let's redo that again. 3E5. 3-12 for Mr. Surhoff. 3-12 is a P/F. That's a 13, and he is an E5. There's no 13 there. P/F means we're checking the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to see if there is a pass ball or not. So Basio, we have to check to see if Basio has a high enough wild pitch rating to cause a pass ball. His wild pitch rating is 14, so it's very likely. Actually, 16, so it's very likely. And it is. So it is going to be a pass. Why was I checking pass ball? There's nobody on base. That was dumb. I got distracted by Star Trek, I guess. So it's going to be a foul out. There's nobody on base, so I'm not sure why I went through all that procedure when there's nobody on base. So that ends the inning. I'm going to go the 7th inning stretch, but since I don't have coffee to worry about keeping warm, I'm just going to keep rolling. Bill Pecota will be in. I got to insert Bill Pecota in the game at shortstop on the computer, or the computer won't like that. And now we're going to have Rick Anderson back out. And he'll be facing Surhoff, who's homered all 3 times at the plate. There's no way in hell he's getting a 4th home run. I mean, really? There's no way he's getting a 4th home run. Especially this is his 3rd different pitcher he'd have to do it off of. He had the first home run off of Gubaza. These 2 came off Jerry Don Gleaton, and he'd have to do the 4th one off of Rick Anderson. I don't like the odds of that. 211. Oh, boy. Look how close he came to his 4th home run at 210, and he'd have had his 4th home run. Missed it by that much, as Don Adams would say. But it's a 211, so it's a pop out at second. So to use the Adam 12 routine, 211 in progress is usually a robbery, so he almost got robbed of a 4th home run there. But it is a pop out to second. Never had a 4 home. I've had a couple 3 home run games, but I've never had a 4 home run game, so that would have been interesting. And I don't think he's going to get another at bat, so the chances of that happening are very slim now. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. Hope you are. It was a pleasure hearing you this evening. I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing or listen to the whole thing later. Here's Manning. 2-8, and that is a walk to Rick Manning. Unfortunately, this game's kind of out of hand like the one this morning was, but can't get close games all the time. Here's Gantner. 2-8 for Gantner, and that's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 4-6-3, and that will end the inning. So Rick Anderson he's induced 2 double plays in the last 3 innings. So he's done very well for himself, and he'll go ahead and finish out the game. No reason not to. So we go to the top of the 8th. Score still Milwaukee 8 and Kansas City 3. Basio out for his second inning of work. He'll be facing Seitzer, Tartable, and Bosley. 4-5, and that is a strikeout. And Jeff, you missed at least 2 of these were needing baby wipes. This one didn't, but these 2 did. So luckily we had a good supply in stock, and not because it would be a bad position to be in that kind of thing and not have run out of wipes. Here's Tartable 2-5, and that is a 1-8 home run. That's a 6. It's gone. It's not clean, but it counts. 2 and a 5 is a 1-8 home run. That's a 6. That is a 6. So a home run from Danny Tartable cuts the lead to 8-4 for Tartable. That is home run number 13 on the replay. He had 34 real world. That's his 13th homer and his 37th run batted in. So the lead is cut to 8-4. Here's Thad Bosley. 3-8, and that is a ground ball to second. 2 down. Ben, that your comment there reminded me it just hit me that the great line, or I think it's a great line, but most people probably don't even remember it being in the movie. But the movie Roadhouse had a nice line where Sam Elliott's character was talking to Patrick Swayze's character, and it said something about they had a sign in the urinal that says "Don't eat the white mint." That was an interesting sign that they would have. 6-9 for Basio. That's a 1 for a triple. Anything else is a single. So Basio will give up the single to Frank White. 2-out single, and that brings up Beniquez. If you never see, that's a cult classic if you've never seen it. 4-6, and that is a 1-3 single. That's a 1. The double die is a 1, so we got a base hit. It's a 1-base advancement. Runners at first and second. Here comes Bo Nose. I'm telling you what, if Bo gets into one, we got ourselves a ball game. He's already hit one out earlier back in the 6th inning. 111. It's a ballpark single, not a home run chance, but that's a 5, so that counts. It's going to load the bases. And Bill Pacoda is your batter. Do they pinch it for Pacoda with somebody with power is the question. Because he could bring in Bye Balboni and try to see if he can get into one. That's what they're going to do. They're going to bring in for Pacoda. They're going to pinch it for Pacoda with Steve Bye Balboni, and then they will use Buddy Biancalana to play shortstop. So Pacoda's time in the game did not last long. We go to the bench, and we're going to get Bye Balboni coming on. And Biancalana will take over at shortstop. So we have Balboni coming in to pinch hit here in the 8th. And we have Biancalana playing shortstop in the bottom of the 8th. Right now, it's bye-bye Balboni. All eyes on him. If he can park one here, we'd have a tie ball game. Tying run is Balboni on the replay. I'm sorry, in the real season. Balboni 207, but he did hit 24 home runs. On the replay, he's only hitting 155 with 8 home runs. So Basio has to bear down. "5-8" for Basio, and that's a strikeout. Struck him out to end the inning. So bye-bye goes bye-bye. And Basio can make it into the ninth now. Score now 8-4, and Buddy Biancalana will come into the game to play shortstop for the Royals. So on the bench for the Royals, the remaining players that they have active on the roster that could still come into play. You have the backup catcher Larry Owen. You have 2 designated hitters, basically, George Orta and Hal McRae. So Rick Anderson's back out for the bottom of the 8th, facing Castillo, Swain, and Felder. Well, Chuck, it's your choice. You do what you want. Doesn't matter to me. Free country. Here's Castillo. 6-9, and that is a single. Base hit for Castillo. That'll bring up Dale Swain. "5-5", and that's going to be a end home run, 1-3. That's a 12. It'll be a double. 2 stars. Runner can't advance past third. And now Rick Anderson is tired. We'll bring up Felder. Infield is in with nobody out. "5-4", switch hitter, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. And that's going to do it for Anderson. They can't go any further with him. They're going to have to make a move here. Anderson's hit fatigue, so it's time for him to go. And let's see, they're either going to bring in Quisenberry or they're going to have to bring in Farr. Let's see who's the most rested. I think Quisenberry's been overused quite a bit. Yeah, he's at 170%. Farr's at 100%, so we'll go with Steve Farr because we really want to rest Quisenberry for a couple games if we possibly can. So Steve Farr will be coming on. Do the numbers on Anderson later. Bases loaded. Nobody out for Robin Yount. Infield's playing for the double play. They really need to get outs here. All right, here is, it's a 2, so we're looking at a pass ball or a wild pitch. Pass ball rating on Quirk is a 6. No, it is a pass ball, so they're going to pass. So the run comes in on the pass ball by Jamie Quirk. Unbelievable. So now the infield's going to have to come in because the run's in. Let's see here. Pass ball. Yount still at the plate with the infield now in. 6-6, and that's a 1-2 triple. 3-20 is a single. It's a single, 2 stars. Both runs will score. They'll be charged to Anderson, and this game is definitely getting out of hand now. 3 runs in the inning now makes it 11-4. Those runs, all 3 runs are charged to Anderson on the 2-run single from Robin Yount. It is now 11-4. Here's Cecil Cooper. And here is Cooper with a runner at first and 2 outs. 3-10 for Cooper is a split chance. 1-3 is a single. That's a 2. The double die keeps showing up in spades. For the Brewers now, that is hit number 14 to go with 11 runs. Here comes Greg Brock, and lo and behold, Surhoff will get another at bat. I didn't think he would, but he's guaranteed to get another bat short of a triple play. That's a 6-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, potential double play chance. Salazar, actually, Buddy Biancalana forgot that he's in the game. So Biancalana will check his defensive rating, which at shortstop is horrible. 3.88 at shortstop. So I think we're going to get an error here. What do you think? 3.88. Is it possible not to make an error with a 3.88? Wow. Well, let's see if there's a hit first of all. 3-7. No, it's a G3. He would get a play out. He would get an out at first base. But boy, the E88. Well, actually, there aren't that many numbers there for 88. This is very surprising. 9, 11, 12, 16, and 14. I thought this page would be filled since it's E88. That is a 13, and he avoids the error. There is no error, so he actually makes the play to first base for the 1 out. And when you had a 3E88, I figured that was just a lost cause, but even the 88 didn't hurt him. Now, baseball strategy would dictate that we walk B.J. Surhoff, but with the score being 11-4, you're not really are you really doing any strategy to walk the guy and set up a double play because it's 11-4? They're going to go ahead and pitch to Surhoff. Infield is in, though, but they will pitch to Surhoff. 4-5, and he struck him out. So far, gets Surhoff out of there, out number 2. So no 4-home run game. But I thought it had been really cheeky to walk him intentionally. So if it was a close game, I would have, but not in a blowout. Here's Rick Manning. .26, and that's a single to right field, so base hit. Let's see. I don't know if Cooper can score, though. We'll see. Tarbell's got a 0 arm. He runs at an 11, not being held as a 12. 2 outs is a 14. So they'll send him 1-14, and he's in there. Manning, with his speed, will take second on the throw. But it's a 2-run single from Rick Manning. And it is now 13-4 as yet another nickel has been put up by the Brewers. And here's Jimmy Gantner, 9th man to bat in the inning. 2-8, and that is a ground ball to second. 2-9 would have been interesting as a hit by pitch. You can almost see that happening in real world where he got frustrated and just hit him. But he grounds out, so that's going to end the inning. 5 spot for the Brewers, and I think it's pretty safe to put an X here. I don't think there's any jinx on that. We get the numbers on Anderson on the replay from the Strat computer. We can get them on both for Farr and for Anderson. So for Anderson, he goes 2 2/3, and he gives up 4 hits and 3 runs. 2 walks, no strikeouts. Steve Farr went 1 inning, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. No walks and a strikeout. So for Milwaukee, 13 runs, 15 hits, and an error. That's what they've got so far. Chris Basio, because of the insanely weird save rules, can actually get a save in this game, even though it's 13-4. If he pitches his 3rd consecutive inning, he gets the save. I don't see any ninth inning magic possibly happening. They might score a run or something like that, but to score 9 runs, I don't think so. Here's Jamie Quirk, 2-6. Although Yogi says never over till it's over, right? That's a fly to center field, so Quirk is out of there. 1 away. This is not a candidate for game of the year, as RGL would say. Here's Willie Wilson, 1-9, and that's a 1-6. I'm sorry, 1-9 triple. That's an 18, so he'll settle with a single for Willie Wilson. Basio is about ready to be on the verge of fatigue. Wilson will not be held, and with the score being 13-4, they're not going to try to steal or take the base, because if they did, they'd probably cause their batter to get hit at or thrown at. So here's Seitzer, 2-10, and that is a ballpark single check on a 2-10. 1-6, that's a 19, so he will line it to short for out number 2. 1 out away from ending this atrocity. And here is Danny Tartable. 1's a possible wild pitch. That's an 8. I think Basio had a high wild pitch rating. Let me double check his wild pitch rating. I think it was like 14 or something. Yep, it was. 16, actually. So he does commit the wild pitch or uncork the wild pitch. Maybe a loss of concentration there. Turns this into technically a clutch situation, although can you really call it clutch? 4-12, and that's a ground ball back to Basio, and that'll do it. Ball game is over. Royals win a laugher. I'm sorry, Kansas City loses a laugher to Milwaukee by the score of 13-4. And we'll get the totals as we go to the box score. Winning pitcher is it's been so long since he started. The winning pitcher is Len Barker. The loser is Gubaza, who drops to 5-5. His ERA jumps to 4.50 with that bad outing. Barker gets the win. He goes to 2-0. Basio gets his 3rd save as he went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits and a run. No walks and 3 strikeouts. The only run he gave up was the home run to Tartable. So with that win, Milwaukee takes a 2-game lead over both the Yankees and the Blue Jays in the American League East, and Kansas City drops below 500. So the final game on June the 3rd will take place tomorrow morning. It'll be from Texas. It'll be the Chicago White Sox and the Texas Rangers. It'll be Floyd Bannister against Mike Tenderloin of the Texas Rangers. So now that score sheet's downstairs. I don't have it with me. So I was going to show the score sheet, but I don't have it with me. It's downstairs. So anyway, thank you all for spending part of your Thursday evening with me. We're supposed to get 2 to 3 inches of snow overnight and tomorrow morning. Oh, I forgot to mention the player of the game. No question about it. B.J. Surhoff. His 3 home runs. 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. So he is undoubtedly the player of the game in this one. B.J. Surhoff. Just so we get that in, that he was the player of the game. So anyway, hope you all have a great rest of the evening, whatever you have planned, whether you're watching some TV, chilling out, doing whatever. And like I said, tomorrow we'll be in Texas for the White Sox and the Rangers. And either tomorrow evening or Saturday afternoon, it will be the National League game, which will pit the Houston Astros against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. Bob Knepper against Rick Sutcliffe. That'll be the National League game that's going to be represented on June the 3rd. So, again, thank you all for being here. And All I can say is if you, for some reason, don't like the content, then there's other channels out there for sure. There's probably thousands and thousands of YouTube channels or other TV you could watch. So if what I present is not enjoyable or pleasing to you, then there's always, like somebody mentioned earlier about being America, you have the freedom of doing something else. That's the whole beauty of being in America to begin with. Freedom of choice. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to delve too much into it. Just telling it like it is. I mean, I could come on here and say I don't give a shit what he thinks, but I won't say that. I'm too nice to say that. So I'll refrain from saying that. I'm too cultured to say that. So I won't do it. So until next time, hope you enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play in your hobby, however you choose to play it. And I will catch you guys down the road. Final score 13-4 Milwaukee.